You a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. We are recapping the week's nerdy news from Asgard to Mimban and everywhere in between. My name is Mike Gibson. With me, as always, is Steve Haller. What's up, Steve?
Well, another week, and another announcement of more Spidey adjacent things in the Sonyverse that nobody cares about. We got another casting note that we are not going to go deep in, but since we have to contractually talk about Spidey at least once, or the Spidey verse once per episode, Mike Epps was cast in Madam Web. There, we've done it. Moving on to San Diego Comic-Con.
There's nothing else we can say about it that we haven't already said. We don't know anything about that movie, but hooray, they keep casting people. Before we move on, I just got to give a very selfish shout out to myself, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
To say that my comic book, The Amazing Shakes, is completed. It is done, and the digital copies have been sent to all Kickstarter backers. Hooray!
It is in our hands. I have read the whole damn thing.
Yeah,
and thanks. It was beautiful. It was well done. I was a fan, and not just because you're my co-host.
Well, thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate that. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. It's out there in the world. People are reading it finally. Physical copies aren't in yet, but hoping that I'm going to hear about those pretty soon. It's not available on any like digital comic purchasing sites yet. If you are listening to this, if you're a fan of this show, if you want one and you haven't gotten one, you can just reach out to me via the contact information for this show or my personal contact information, whatever. Send me a message. Figure out a way to get you a copy of The Amazing Shakes #1 Vampire Girlfriend. So that's a little plug for me out of the way. Moving on to real quick synopsis of some announcements. We got some confirmation of what panels we're going to see in a few weeks at San Diego Comic-Con. Panels have been announced and confirmed for, get a load of this list, Sandman, House of the Dragon, Black Adam, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Star Trek Universe, Dungeons & Dragons, Lord of the Rings. That's Dungeons & Dragons the movie. What's the subtitle of Dungeons & Dragons movie?
Oh, Honor Among Thieves?
Honor Among Thieves, yeah, okay. Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, Paper Girls, X-Men 97, Wheel of Time, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, Prey, Harley Quinn Season 3, and more. So, when is San Diego Comic-Con? July 28th? That's like last weekend of July.
2 weekends from now, yep.
Yeah, okay.
21st,
so
24th or something.
Yeah, okay, so the first episode that we do after that, that's just going to be a packed episode. We're just going to be covering everything from San Diego Comic-Con. So, get ready for that. And if you're going to San Diego Comic-Con, have fun. Wish I could be there.
Enjoy.
Enjoy it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something I've always wanted. I would love to go to that. And at the same time, I feel like I would be overwhelmed. And I don't know. I guess I just want to go. But
yeah.
I don't want to have to like wait in line for days or whatever, for hours to get into Hall H. And then just sit there through a bunch of stuff I don't care about to see one thing that I care about. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you have to sacrifice a lot of other time at the convention if you want to be in Hall H for the big Marvel announcement. That's something I didn't mention in that list, which is insane that I didn't put it on there. But Marvel is also doing a big announcement. I think it's Friday or Saturday night.
Back for the first time in a couple of years, right?
Yeah, and there was always a rumor that they weren't going to be there this year and that they were going to save it for D23. I think we talked about that already, but no, they are going to be there. So anyway, I feel like it's great to be in Hall H, and it would be huge and electric and amazing, but also like there's tons of other stuff like I want to see. I want to take my time. I don't want to I don't want to wait for hours starting at 5 o'clock in the morning just so I can get into Hall H and then forego all this other cool stuff. I'm sure there's a way to do both, but
yeah, I've done that at BlizzCon before, where you sit waiting for panels that you make sure you want to be at, but at the same time, it's like you miss out on the rest of the convention,
right?
And it's I don't know, you're losing a step there, and most of the Hall H stuff you're going to be seeing very quickly after the fact. Like, it would be awesome, right? It'd be awesome to be in that room. But at the same time, in like a day or hours, now that we're in the current digital age we are, everything's going to be up everywhere. So, or
Yeah.
at least recaps of everything. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, there's pros and cons to it. I personally, having been through the con experience a couple of different ways, would opt to avoid Hall H and just hit everything else while everybody else is waiting for Hall H.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that would be more enjoyable almost for me.
Yeah.
Currently
But
where I'm at mentally.
But some of these
still,
are real blockbusters.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I do want to hear Zachary Levi talk about Shazam or The Rock
Right.
talk about Black Adam or Neil
Yep.
Gaiman talk about Sandman. Like, yeah, I would love to see that stuff too. And I think you're right. I think it was at least 3 years since Marvel has been there, because it was 3 years ago, I think, that we were at our friend's wedding when they announced all the Phase 4 stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
And we were like at the reception drinking and dancing and stopping every 10 seconds to check our phones to
Yeah.
see, like, oh my God, Blade, like stuff.
They finished it
And
with a 4. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I think that's the last time that they really announced
Yeah.
anything big like that. So are we due for more announcements, or I don't know. I feel like there's still a lot on the plate that we need information on. I don't think it's going to be another like, hey, here's what we're doing for the next 10 years thing. I feel like it's going to be like, hey, here's what Wakanda Forever looks like. Here's who's going to direct Fantastic Four. You know, here's this kind of stuff that's coming down.
A little more housekeeping.
That's my guess.
But it could be. I mean, they could drop the big news that the worst kept secret in comics history, that Secret Wars is where this is all leading.
Oh yeah, could be.
Because I mean, if you're gonna go to Hall H, I mean, yeah, they're like, Netflix is dropping on Sandman, which is coming out the week after San Diego Comic Con. Like, do you dropped Hall H money on that? Okay.
Yeah, that's a little. Well, I guess they want a big showing for it. You know,
that's
so
true.
That makes sense. And it also makes like, I don't know. Like, what do you drop? Do you spend the money on the thing that's coming out immediately after, or do you spend the money on the thing that's coming out months after? Like Black Adam and Shazam aren't coming out to the fall,
right?
But they're going to have big panels and presence there. So I don't know. Like, do you want people to forget about it in the next couple of months, or do you want people to be like, I just saw this last week, I'm going to watch the shit out of Sandman, you know, when it comes out. So
yeah, I guess we're looking at it from, no matter what, we're going to watch the shit out of Sandman. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But looking at the ones you dropped, you've got Sandman, House of the Dragon. I mean, we're going to see what we're going to see. I wonder if they give anything beyond House of the Dragon, but I'd assume they want to keep the hype up for that, so you probably know.
The big deal I read about that is that George R.R. Martin is going to be there himself.
Oh, okay.
For that panel. So I'm sure that he won't announce a new book being finished because he hates. One thing we know about George R.R. Martin, he loves not writing books.
Yeah. He loves not writing specifically a Song of Ice and Fire. Yeah. Because he's putting out wild cards and all sorts of other stuff left and right.
Yeah.
He even put out a history of, Fire and Blood, the history of the Targaryens and all this other stuff. And it's like, can you keep going on the one that we want to know?
Can you do the one thing that everyone wants you to do?
Right.
Great.
Yeah. No. Why not?
Sorry,
why would we do that?
I interrupted you. I interrupted you about the you were going down through the panel.
Yeah, I mean, Black Adam and Shazam, we know what we're gonna get with those, like hype, basically just hype panels.
Or maybe new trailers. We're gonna get interviews with the cast. There was a teaser of the Shazam. There was a very, very quick teaser dropped this week from Shazam.
Oh, with actual footage?
No, I mean, it was a silhouette shot of Zachary Levi in the suit saying like, "I'm back," and that was it. So
gotcha.
Nothing not worth really talking about.
Yeah. Star Trek universe, like, is
that's what they're calling the general, like,
Discovery,
here's all the
and
Star Trek shows,
all the
all the stuff that they're working on, Picard and everything. Yeah.
So they'll probably drop something new out of that, because whether it's new season announcements or a new show or whatever, because apparently Strange New Worlds is gangbusters. Yeah. I still haven't had a chance to watch that since we're wife and I are currently diving through I think I mentioned to you Get Back and Under the Banner of Heaven. So it's like I can watch Andrew Garfield for 6 hours and then watch the Beatles for 8 more hours. And then I might get to that. Dungeons and Dragons. This movie. Anyone who lived through the 90s and saw the original, or one of the, whatever they attempted in the 90s or early 2000s, I can't remember. Um, this surprises me because if you look at what they've put into this, you've got Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Reggie Jean Page from what's that show? Bridgerton.
I don't know.
Um,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was like the main season
Yeah.
1 Bridgerton guy.
Yeah.
And then Justice Smith, Sophia Lillis, Chloe Coleman, Daisy Head, and Hugh Grant.
Oh, Hugh Grant's in it?
Apparently. So,
I feel like
Grant is the villain named Forge Fletcher.
Oh, amazing.
Okay.
But besides, like, I do want to see what the Sandman panel is. I want to see what Black Adam, Shazam, like those are like the ones I'm most excited about. Being a big DC guy, but like the one I'm most interested in is Dungeons and Dragons, just because I don't know what that movie is at all. And so
what
I
it
hope
could even
there's
be.
Exactly. I really hope there's a trailer, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
So
we
shall see.
Whether it's a trailer or at least some semblance of figuring out what in the hell it is, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the rest, Lord of the Rings, Paper Girls, X-Men 97, Wheel of Time, they're all gonna be, same thing as Black Adam and Shazam, like your standard. Here's this thing, come look at it. We'll have people talk to you about it, but there's not gonna be any crazy reveals or anything like that. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur are getting Hall H treatment. So
I'm excited about that.
That's going to be...
I'm excited about that show.
I am. I did not expect it to get a full panel. And then Prey and Harley Quinn season 3. So, yeah.
I think they're going to debut the first, like, 2 episodes of Harley Quinn.
Nice.
Yeah, people can watch it there. And I don't know I know Prey is going to call Hall H. I'm not sure what... I don't know what that is, but that show looks dope, so...
Yeah. When you had me watch that trailer with no preconceived notions, I was like, this looks like it's going to be, holy shit, that's a Predator.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll see, and then we'll see what, I'm sure Marvel's going to bring something. I don't know, we don't know how big it's going to be, but, I guess, I think you're right. I think they probably will announce the direction, the tie through events. Speaking of which, I have seen Thor: Love and Thunder. Steve has not seen Thor: Love and Thunder. We're going to give Steve until next week to see it before we do a review of it, an in-depth review. If he gets out to see it, then we can have a more interesting conversation about it, and then hopefully our review will be up next week.
Yeah. With that said, give us a quick synopsis of what it was like to go into that movie with no aspersions whatsoever.
It's hard for me to say this. I liked it. I liked the experience of going and knowing nothing, especially the way the movie started. I was like, whoa, what am I getting into? This is not what I expected at all. And then it started to feel more like a Marvel movie.
Right.
So yeah, it was cool not having seen it. It was really cool. Now that like thinking back on it, I was like, I don't know what was in the trailers. I don't know what wasn't in the trailers. This is great. I'm just, and I guess I can talk more about that if we get to once we do our in-depth spoiler review of it.
Yeah.
But
I just wanted the cliff notes of what it was like to have nothing going into it. So
yeah, it was a cool experience. If I can do it again, I would enjoy doing it again. If I can keep my nerd boy fandom at bay.
It took some doing.
It did. Twice in a movie theater, seeing another movie, I had to close my eyes and plug my ears to not see the trailer. So it was hard.
Oh, boy. So
anyway, stay tuned for a more in-depth Thor: Love and Thunder talking, hopefully next week. But in the meantime, we got some other Marvel stuff to talk about this week. 2 cool things and one
less
not so cool thing. This is a very unsurprising announcement, as we assumed it for a while now. But Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are going to be returning as Daredevil and Kingpin to the Disney Plus series Echo. Echo was a series that was announced, I think, before Hawkeye even came out. They announced they were going to make an Echo series, a spinoff of this character Maya Lopez, that was going to be in Hawkeye. I'm pretty sure they announced it before Hawkeye happened.
Yeah, it was
My
either
memory serves me.
before or like right as like before the character was even known to be in Hawkeye.
Yeah. Yes. I think it was before the show came out, though.
Might
I
have
think we
been,
already knew
yeah.
that going in. But anyway, even I remember at that time we were like, "Oh, this is because this character has strong connections to Daredevil and strong connections to Kingpin.
Yep.
This is going to be where they come back. We're going to see Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio in this show." It was also before Spider-Man No Way Home came out. It was before Hawkeye came out. So then it was like, oh, okay. It's not the first time we're going to see these characters, but now we know for sure it is going to be the second time that we see these characters coming back. Maya Lopez, Echo, a character from the Marvel Comics. She was introduced in Disney's Hawkeye show. Character has, like I just said, strong connections to both Daredevil and Kingpin. We learned that she is almost a familial relation with Kingpin, kind of like raised as a surrogate daughter, kind of.
Yep.
Kingpin, and I believe in the comic books, Daredevil kind of helps her develop her fighting style, or
Right.
helps her train or whatever to become some kind of vigilante.
That
who's
next
also
level.
deaf. Yes. Yeah.
Take it
Exactly.
above and beyond just being a hired hand of Kingpin and whatnot.
Yeah. Exactly.
So she knows a really good lawyer.
Yeah, he is a really good lawyer. The only thing we know about the show is the show apparently is going to follow Maya, played by Alaqua Cox, as she retreats from New York City to leave behind her life of crime. There's also an unconfirmed rumor that Kristen Ritter will reprise her role as Jessica Jones. That is unconfirmed because I feel like anytime you're talking about Charlie Cox coming back as Daredevil,
Right.
when you start talking about Daredevil characters coming back, the immediate thing is like, oh, when's Jessica Jones going to come back? When's Luke Cage going to come back? When's Punisher? Like that. The Daredevil
back the
cast
Defenders
is the
stuff
first.
and- yep.
Yeah, that's the first domino that leads into, well, what about this? So I'd love Jessica Jones. I would love if Kristen Ritter cameoed as that character in the show, but
Well, and I
who
think
knows?
that may have come partly
Unconfirmed.
from the smoke where there's smoke, there's fire, because they went through and retitle carded all of the Jessica Jones episodes to AKA Jessica Jones, which was the original run title of Jessica Jones.
Really
Yep. So
interesting.
that was another one of the quizzical things happening on the Disney Plus front. So if you look it up, it still is Jessica Jones just when you search on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
But in the episodes, they changed the title cards.
weird.
Yeah. So don't know why,
Interesting.
but it kind of points to they're doing something else there, because otherwise, why the hell would you do that?
Why would you do that? Yeah.
So
Interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll see.
I can't say I'm excited about this show. I like that character in Hawkeye. I am getting a little I'm feeling a little Marvel fatigue setting back in again personally. I do love Charlie Cox and I loved Vincent D'Onofrio, but also the version that we saw of Vincent D'Onofrio in Hawkeye was certainly not the same. We talked about it. It was certainly not the same version that we saw in the Daredevil series. So we got a little taste of the Disney-fication of Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. I can't say that I'm like as excited as I would be if I knew it was going to be like hard-hitting, same tone as the Netflix show, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I definitely will still watch the show because I love those two characters and those two actors as those characters so much.
Yeah, it's kind of. I wonder. I don't want Echo to be Book of Boba Fett for Marvel,
Right.
where it's just this show that's like, okay, and then introduces like a couple of episodes where you're like, oh, the best part of the show wasn't even about the show. And
Correct. Yeah.
I'm afraid that could happen if they're not tied into it like from the beginning. If this isn't literally Daredevil teaching her, like showing her how to find herself, then I'm not sure that it'll carry the weight that it needs to.
Yeah, it's got to be about her first and foremost, and it has to be engaging enough that we're not just sitting around waiting like, oh, when's Charlie Cox going to show up?
Right.
When's Kingpin going to show up? I think Charlie Cox has got to be like Stick is to Daredevil, is Daredevil is to Echo. I feel like that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
That's my guess, and I can't imagine that either of them are going to be in every episode, and I don't really want them to be in every episode because I want it to be a bigger tease for the Daredevil revival,
Right.
and give us a little bit more of a taste of what that's going to be like. I guess. But yeah, I hope it is a character focus on the Echo character herself, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Absolutely. Things that are also going to be character studies.
Yeah.
Sam Wilson.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I forget how excited I am about Captain America 4 until we get news about Captain America 4, which we haven't had in a while. So, but this week we got a director for Captain America 4, Julius Onah. Is going to direct Captain America 4. He is most known for directing the Cloverfield Paradox for Netflix, but also the film Luce, Luce, which received a lot of acclaim and some award nominations. So I believe that is what got him the job of directing Captain America 4, not necessarily the Cloverfield Paradox, which was less than great, in my opinion. Captain America 4 is being written by Malcolm Spellman and Dylan Mousson, who also wrote Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which bodes well for Captain America 4. Anthony Mackie is returning to reprise his role as Captain America, the new Captain America. Spoiler alert for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But there's no other cast has been announced yet. And that was the same. I think we talked about, they announced Captain America 4, but like a year ago.
Yeah.
And we talked about how he was the only cast member noted to be coming back.
Still is.
Still is. Maybe this is something that we hear about at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, could be. Because they
we don't even
dropped this right
know...
after Falcon and the Winter Soldier finished up, right? They dropped the news.
It wasn't. It was not too long.
At the end of it. Yeah.
It wasn't too long after that. So, yeah, and we don't even know if this is part of Phase 4. Is it part of Phase 5? We know they're making this movie, but we don't know when it's even supposed to come out or whatever. And
right.
They're all very rigid with their deadlines and release schedules, so they know when it's coming out. So maybe they'll tell us. Maybe
we'll talk more about their release schedules later.
We're about to get into that. Yeah. Steve, how do you feel about Captain America 4?
I think it'll be awesome to continue the series and to see Sam in a feature-length film. Like my only complaint is oh God, why did my brain literally just stop functioning right then?
I don't know. What's your complaint? Racists being mad that Captain America is black? Because that's my complaint.
Oh no, that's just a given complaint.
Yeah.
It was actually about his little drone.
Oh, Red Wing.
Red Wing not being an actual Falcon.
Yeah.
Still disappointing. But no.
Yeah.
All that was for a joke that completely didn't land. So, yeah. Biggest concern would 100% be racists being assholes. But that's a given that comes with the territory. So,
I think it's going to be interesting that Thor is the first MCU character to get 4 solo movies. Iron Man had his trilogy. Captain America, or Steve Rogers, had a trilogy. It's interesting that this is a 4th Captain America movie, but it's not about the same character, which I think is cool. And I don't know that is there another franchise that has done that? That has made a sequel that's not actually about the same character?
The Crow.
I guess you're right, because a different person is the Crow every time. Also, didn't they make a Jason Bourne movie without Jason Bourne in it?
I think so.
Didn't they make a movie where it was like the Bourne something? It was like Jeremy Renner was like
yes,
not
it was Jeremy
Jason
Renner.
Bourne,
That's
but
what it was.
Kind of Jason Bourne. Yeah, but that didn't go very well. I'm pretty sure this is going to go over
about that well. Oh.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be better. I think
more
people care about this.
Cap 4, I gotcha. Yep. I was backwards on what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this I really am looking forward to it, and I loved when, like, at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when they changed the final title card to Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Captain America and Winter Soldier.
I was like,
Feels
it was
good.
just enough of a hit. I'm like, yep, okay, the Shield's back in action.
Yeah, and I like, as much as I like something like Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, or I don't know, whatever else.
Right.
They're introducing a lot of new stuff to the MCU, a lot of new characters. Shang-Chi, Eternals, things like that have come out in Phase 4. But like I was excited to see Thor because he's a character. Like I was excited to see Thor: Love and Thunder because he's a character that's been around since Phase 1 of
Right.
the MCU, and it's like being played by the same guy, same still Thor, still going on adventures. Like, yeah, I'm into that. Like there's less fatigue for me for a character that I am already invested in and still invested in.
Right.
Like Thor, who's been around for so long. He's like was part of the original crew. And even though Sam Wilson hasn't been around the entire time, he was introduced in the second Captain America movie, so he's been around.
Right,
for
he's been
a
around
long
most
time.
of
He's
the
been
time.
around since Phase 2.
Well, it's like
And
the
he's
Guardians
so-
hitting for you in Thor. Like same kind of deal. Like, okay,
Sure.
there's more people that I know.
Yeah, right.
The
more
comfortable
reason
blanket.
to be more reason to be excited. Exactly. And
Yep.
it's like I do like that they have to introduce new characters, right? They have to, or else they're
Yeah.
just going to burn out of the characters that they have. So it makes sense they're introducing more people. But
Well, do you know how long they've been putting out Marvel comics? I think they've
I
got
sure
a couple
do.
ideas left.
they do have a few ideas left. So anyway, I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully, it'd be cool if we get some more info at San Diego Comic-Con. And
Mhm.
kind of surprising, I won't be surprised if we do. Now that we know the director, I feel like maybe the director can come out, Sam Mack can come out, they can announce whether Sebastian Stan is in it, they can announce a villain,
Right.
whatever. We'll see.
I wonder who.
All right. Yeah, who would be the villain for Captain America 4? We burned through a lot of people.
We did. I can't remember who was. Huh.
I mean, we got Crossbones, we got Baron Zemo, we got Red Skull. Red Skull's
Yep.
the big one. And
Right.
they did away with him in the first movie.
Well, who was it in the actual Sam Cap run? Wasn't it a little
I
more
don't know.
esoteric? Yeah, whatever. I read it
That's
probably
that's
about
I was gonna say.
2 years ago, and I
That's a
can't
you
remember.
question, my
so
friend.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I just
All right,
realized I'm
well-
sitting here wearing the shield. So
Yeah. So put your money where your shirt is.
yeah, I got nothing.
Put your mouth where your shirt is. How does that? I don't know how that makes more sense. It doesn't make sense no matter which
I
way
think
you
I
say
just
it,
told
but-
my son not to do that. So
Yeah. All right, Marvel MCU fans, buckle up for some bad news. A recent article from thegamer.com summarized and reported on a current Reddit thread about Marvel's and the MCU's treatment of visual effects workers. A number of recent cases where people... Oh, I should say there have been a number of recent cases where people have noticed a dip in the quality of the special effects in the MCU. I am one of those people that have noticed that. And again, I'm not trying to give any spoilers away for Thor: Love and Thunder, but I am one of those people that have noticed a difference in quality of the look of Marvel films.
if you were anywhere near the internet regarding that
Yeah.
movie, you're spot on.
You might have seen
Yeah.
some comparisons. Yeah. I mean, again, not to give any spoilers away, because it's not a spoiler for the plot of the movie or anything, but there's someone that posted shots from the original Thor movie up against shots from the new one, and it's like, whoa, wow. Yeah, like you wouldn't notice it if you didn't compare them, really.
Yeah.
But then comparing them, you're like, oh, whoa, what?
Yeah.
Why doesn't it look like this anymore? And even like I remember when I saw Shang-Chi, like that movie was fine, but like I was very aware that I was watching visual effects. Like none of it looked dazzling enough to be real to me. It just looked like, okay, yeah, these are
Right.
computer generated, hands down, computer generated effects. Nothing is wowing me really. But anyway, this article kind of maybe gives us an explanation as to why that is the case, or why that may be the case, why people are noticing that. The article is called VFX Artists Are Refusing to Work with Marvel Due to Stress and Unrealistic Deadlines. The report came from the visual effects subreddit, which recently kind of exploded with these people that are in the VFX industry sharing these terrible experiences on working with Marvel on certain MCU projects. Now, She-Hulk. That was the other thing that trailer dropped, and we're all like, "Is that what she
Duh.
looks like? Are they gonna fix that?"
Yep.
So I have the
Now,
article.
lo and
up.
behold, that trailer actually it came out. That was a bit of a compression issue on YouTube because they
Okay.
showed the actual footage, and it's like it's not great, but it's
Yeah.
1,000 times better than what we saw.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so this article, the thread on Reddit is called. The title of the thread is called "I am quite frankly sick and tired of working on Marvel shows." The user goes on to say, Marvel has probably the worst methodology of production and VFX management out there. They can never fix the look of a show before more than half of the allocated time for the show is over. Not really sure what that means. The artists working on Marvel shows are definitely not paid equivalent to the amount of work they put in. Other people, I'm just going to read a couple of these quotes from other users on Reddit that have commented on this thread or added to this thread saying, this person said that they worked on the new Thor movie, saying that they asked for a complete mini sequence 2 to 3 weeks before the deadline of the film. Another user went on to say, I request not to work on Marvel movies and TV shows. Unfortunately, they're becoming our biggest client. They expect a smorgasbord of options so they can change their mind 3 or more times. People saying, I'm almost 3 years straight working on Marvel. Welcome to the 7th level of hell. It is a black hole of sleep deprivation and eating bad.
Yeah.
I am on my 3rd Marvel project in a row and literally just woke up at 5:30 on a Saturday with stress going, I don't want to do this anymore. It's now 6 a.m. and I'm making a reel to apply somewhere else that has no Marvel projects because I can't do this anymore. Marvel has seen grown men punch walls and throw monitors from stress. I broke down a couple of times and have seen the strain it can put on marriages. But hey, the money was fantastic. F Marvel as a client, the credit of their name is not effing worth it. It took me over 6 months to recover from WandaVision's crunch. It is not worth it. Not when there's better run projects that look just as good out there. So
Yeah. And that's
pretty damning work. These are from people that are in the industry that have worked on MCU Marvel projects in the past.
right.
And Steve, I get it. This is not hard for me to believe. I don't think that these people are making this up. And Marvel is
No,
somebody that
Yeah.
they're cranking out content at
And you have a
lightning pace.
finite pool of resources to do that.
Yeah.
And like there's only so many visual effects guys out there. I'm sure, there's a lot of them, but to produce what they're producing along with what everybody else is doing, like it's not it's insane. Like it's not like Star Wars where you can just hand it over to ILM and say go do it. Like you have an in-house VFX group there. Why Marvel doesn't do that or like bring people into the full, if they're going to be constantly churning stuff out 24/7, you would think they would like, I don't know, either pay their folks better or space shit out or pay their folks better.
Yeah.
Or space shit out.
I know. I think it would bode very well for Disney to start spacing stuff out a lot more. Like I don't know. I like all this stuff, but you can take your time. You don't have to give us a new show every month. You don't have to give us a new movie every 2 months. Like,
or if you're going to keep the pace for the shows, cut it back to like a movie or two a year, or like figure out what your lane is. Like Star Wars seems to have found out that their lane is television, and they're going to keep running with that. Yeah. Now, whether that's a function of them not knowing what they're doing or them knowing what they're doing, we will never know. But the like Marvel, you're trying to run every lane at the same time, and it's just not sustainable.
Yeah, and I heard someone on a podcast recently complain about how Disney and Disney Plus have found a way has found the way to make Star Wars feel less special because Star Wars used to be the thing that comes out and then goes away for 2 to 5 years of just nothing. And then, oh my God, there's a new Star Wars movie. I cannot wait to see this. They went for like yearly movies for a while until they realized that wasn't working. They just haphazardly finished their trilogy so they could finish it. They rushed that. They could have delayed that. And now they're just cranking out shows. But even the Star Wars stuff isn't nearly to the level that we're getting MCU and Marvel stuff.
Right.
So people that are thinking Star Wars stuff isn't special anymore, wow. I mean, that has to be tenfold for Marvel stuff. And I am one of those people that I'm still into the Star Wars stuff, but the Marvel stuff is just getting so much for me that it would feel more special if they pulled back and let the VFX people
Oh yeah.
take the amount of time they need to make it look really great. Because I don't want to, like, if I'm super excited for a new Marvel movie and I go and it looks like shit, then I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, then it's not keeping me invested.
Right. Like, both of us love what they're doing with Miss Marvel, but we can't keep up with it. There's just so much shit out there.
Yeah. We're not doing a Miss Marvel recap this week because we didn't have time to watch it again. There's so much going on. And I think they're doing...
And it's only getting worse for us, by the way.
Oh, I know.
The next 2 months are just going to be like... We'll guess and check as to whatever the hell we can review on a weekly basis, because there's so much coming out.
So much. Unless, hey, if someone wants to pay us to do this,
right,
we'll drop everything and review anything you want us to do.
100%.
So, Amazon, you send us those checks. You want us to do a weekly Lord of the Rings, weekly Paper Girls, whatever. You send us those checks, we'll get it done. But anyway, I mean, what's the point of churning out so much content if it's not going to look great? If it's not, you know, like...
Well, especially when you made your bread and butter on everything looking great.
Yes.
Like, the whole thing was, like, everything was A+, and it was you brought these comic book pages to life, and they looked realistic, and now it's just like, okay, they exist. They're there.
Yeah, I know.
Shang-Chi's dragon looks like it's, something from a 90s cutscene from a video game, but beyond that, everything else was fine. And it's always like one thing. Like Moon Knight, you had like the logs where you're just like,
yes,
what the hell did they do there?
Great example. I forgot about the Moon Knight thing.
You had like beautiful CG later in the show, but then there's this log scene where you're just like, what?
Yeah, like, whoa, that looks not great.
This is not phenomenal.
I know. And like, I like that we're not going to get a new Star Wars movie for a while. And then I know when we get that movie, it's going to look amazing because they took their time. Hopefully, they took their time. They made it the way they wanted it. You know, it looks as good as it looks. And even like, I don't know, even Rise of Skywalker looks great.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Like...
Shit movie. Looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, at the times, though, even at the time, the prequels looked great. Held up like shit. Were relatively shit-ish movies, but like they looked awesome
at the time.
They
looked cutting edge stuff. Now they look dated as hell, but
dude, I can remember sitting in episode 2 and Yoda ignited his lightsaber at the end in that Dooku fight, and literally the entire theater was on their feet cheering and watching that fight. And I'm like, now I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that's very dated CGI and whatnot. Yeah. But like when it happened, it was like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. But I think that's part of the problem is because I think some people are going to these movies now just because they want the story, and maybe they don't care. They're forgiving on how it looks because they want the character they love and they want to see what happens in the story.
They want their pull list. Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like if the quality... if the look keeps getting, if it keeps going downhill or if it starts looking more like generic, then how many new people are you going to get, or how many old people are you going to keep, or how, like, it's not fun anymore, really. Like, I want to, like, you know, Josh Brolin as Thanos looked like a real person.
Right.
And now that's, you know, we get in She-Hulk that looks like a cutscene from a 90s video game, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Disney and Marvel, you're making billions of dollars. You should pay these people more. Give yourself more time. Like, why make it stressful? I'm sure there's other departments that are stressed out. If the FX people are this stressed out, there's got to be other departments that are also stressed out. Like, just relax the pace, man.
Well, and that's the thing. If you space Marvel out, like split, like pull out of the rotation half of the movies and TV shows, it's not like Marvel's leaving the cultural zeitgeist anytime soon.
No. You've got, like, it would be a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars used to be. You go, like, dude, the next time they come up with a Star Wars movie, it's going to be huge.
Oh, yeah.
Because there will have been years since we got a Star Wars movie. And yes, we're getting a bunch of Disney Plus stuff, which is varying in quality. But, like, a Star Wars movie, that's going to put people in the theater. People are going to go see that. if
Well,
you
and,
tell me,
like,
yo,
my-
we're putting pause, we're not gonna get another Marvel movie for a year, but the next one is gonna be Avengers
Epic,
Secret
yeah.
Wars or whatever, then it's gonna, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go see that. It's gonna blow my mind. Absolutely.
Yep. The whole premise, like I have a group of friends that pre-pandemic we used to go opening night to everything. And it was
Yeah.
like when it got to the point where it was 4 Marvel movies on top of whatever else was coming out too, it was just like, for us it was great because we got to see each other more, but at the same time it was just like there's, like you said, there was some serious burnout.
Yeah.
And there's a chance they're towing that line again, and I know I'm close. I know you're close. So
Yeah. I remember even before like the MCU really got going, just being excited that we got like 4 superhero movies in 1 year. Like
Yeah.
I'd just be like, well, we get a Batman movie's coming out and a new Iron Man movie's coming out and a Hulk movie's coming. Like that was all 2008. Those 3 movies came out
right.
the same summer. And I was like, I can't believe we're getting 3 superhero movies. This is amazing. Now it's all we get.
Right.
It's the only thing that anybody makes is superhero
Well, and
content.
think back before that when it was like, holy shit, they made a Blade movie.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Oh my
what?
God.
You guys made a Hellboy movie? Really?
Yeah. It's just crazy to think that I was like, I can't believe there's 5 superhero movies coming out this summer. And now there's 5 coming out this summer plus 70 TV shows and 2 more this fall and 1 more this winter. And, we already know that there's 6 more coming out next year. Like it's just so much. I don't know. I think they are, I don't know how much, clearly this is a big crack in the track record of the MCU. And I feel like it's clearly something that already has been noticed. And it is now we know it is putting a strain on the actual industry. It makes you ask from another angle, not just content wise and not just like writing, casting, filming. It gives you another angle to ask the question, how much longer can they keep up this pace without a big fumble of some kind?
Yep.
I don't know. So we'll see.
We will
Good discussion. Good talk. We'll keep a track on it. And moving on to a new teaser trailer for Lord of the Rings.
No,
The
a
Rings of
teaser
Power.
for the teaser.
For the teaser, that's right. At the end of this teaser, it says there's another teaser coming out this week, like 3 or 4 days from now, Thursday. I think we're getting another teaser for Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power.
Now,
this
would
looked good.
that teaser that is coming be the meteor that was falling throughout this teaser?
I don't know. Maybe. This teaser basically was a bunch of people all over Middle Earth watching some kind of meteor or comet crash through the atmosphere. And I thought that was a cool way to show all the different characters and types of creatures or whatever that are going to be in this show, because they're all looking up, seeing the same thing across the land.
Yep.
It was weird to me to see. I mean, I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings guy, but it was weird to see a meteor in Lord of the Rings. For some reason, I'm just like, space? Space doesn't exist in Lord of the Rings. It's not a thing.
Lord of the Rings is just on a map.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on a
I don't
piece
wanna
of
think
parchment. It's fine.
I don't want to think about space when I'm thinking about hobbits and ents and stuff.
Now you're down a theoretical physics rabbit hole, and yeah, we're never getting you back.
I thought that part was odd, but I didn't think it served as a good way to just get a bunch of like the characters we are going to be caring about looking up and getting a good look at their faces. And
we did see a lot of shots of familiar characters. Like we saw young Elrond, young Galadriel. And strangely enough, young Elrond is, I just realized this week, the guy who plays young Elrond played young Eddard Stark in the tower scene in season 6 of Game of Thrones. So when we found out who Jon Snow actually was, he was the one that told us. So
no stranger to the fantasy genre.
Apparently he just plays young established characters.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but speaking of visual effects, I thought the visual effects in this trailer looked great. Yeah. And again, the only thing we ever talk about when it comes to this show is the amount of money they spent on it. So by the amount of money they spent on it, it should look great. And it did.
Yeah, it lived up to whatever hype.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You did it.
So
Seemingly.
we'll probably have more on this next week when they drop the full teaser.
The
but
actual teaser, yeah.
It was cool to see, like, they showed Ents. So
I was
we
going to
know
say,
that's
it was really
happening.
cool to see an ant, and that looked really great. It was
Yeah.
a kind of like silhouette-y. You didn't really see it very well, but it's still like the way it moved and stuff. I was like, wow, that looks really good.
Yeah. So
A couple like very like panoramic, cinematic shots of, I don't know, land.
right.
Great. Yeah.
Huge tracts of land.
Beautiful, rich, huge tracts of land.
So from Swamp Castle, I think we'll have to give you a report next week on whatever happens with the Rings of Power trailer. Should be
That's
good. I mean, what's that?
Now that you're bringing up Monty Python and the Holy Grail, that is my favorite scene in that whole movie. And
The whole
the whole movie is so funny, but the whole tale of Sir Lancelot when he goes to Swamp Castle and
oh yeah,
rescues, quote unquote,
the damsel in distress
the
through
damsel in
the
distress.
slicing
That
down
is
the whole. Yeah, it's
my
great.
absolute favorite sequence in that entire movie, which I haven't thought about in a long time. So you said that, which is why it's hard for me not. I'm just laughing right now because I haven't
That's
thought about it in so long.
amazing.
Oh god, it's so good. Oh, this will be yours. The curtains? No, not the curtains, lad. So
Oh
funny.
god. Yeah, it really, and it was played so perfectly. That whole movie was
Yeah.
just
Oh god, I gotta watch.
it's a
it again now.
masterpiece.
Yeah, it is a masterpiece.
Speaking of masterpieces,
Okay.
in October, this is an aside, and some people listening to the pod won't care whatsoever. But in October, Carrie Elwes is actually coming to Syracuse with the Princess Bride, doing
way,
doing a watch along track type thing.
Oh my god, that's
So,
awesome.
Yeah,
I would go see that and ask him why they haven't made. Remember, we had this idea
Yep.
on this podcast that they should make a legacy sequel to Princess Bride where
Yeah.
Fred Savage is reading the story to, or a sequel story to his son,
Yep.
and they just get all the characters back. Why haven't you done that? Hollywood.
Yep.
It's right there.
Too easy.
Do it. It's too easy. It's $1 billion idea. It's sitting in, well, I guess my lap right now. No one else's lap, but it's here. You can take it. Take it. It's right on my lap.
Right.
Take it. No big deal.
Take it where Carrie and Mandy Patinkin and everybody's still around.
Yeah. Exactly. Speaking of things, by the way, that are coming out too close to each other, I just realized when I was making the rundown for this episode that we're going to have Lord of the Rings going on at the same time that House of the Dragon is going on. Like two giant fantasy shows.
Right.
House of
Sword
the Dragon
and board
starts
type.
at the end of August. Lord of the Rings starts at the beginning of September. That's going to be very interesting to see which one of those, if one of them does better than the other.
And I wonder what they're going to do for time slots on Lord of the Rings, because HBO Max is going to go 9:00 Sunday nights.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that House of the Dragon is going to be an R-rated show, and I'm assuming that Lord of the Rings is going to be more of a PG-13 ish, probably a hard PG-13. But I think they want to keep it a little more family friendly. I think it's probably going to be a little more intense, but who knows?
So do we want to start recording at 10 and do a House of the Dragon reactions podcast?
I don't know. You and I got to sit down and talk about what we want to talk about.
What we actually need to figure out in these next coming months.
Literally in the span of just like 2 months, we're getting Paper Girls, Sandman, She-Hulk, Andor, Harley Quinn Season 3, House of the Dragon, and Lord of the Rings. And I'm sure that I'm missing some other ones. All those shows are coming out within 2 months. So we're gonna figure something out.
That's a lot of things.
It's a lot of things. And speaking of one of those things, we got a new full-length trailer for Paper Girls, another Amazon show coming out based on the wonderful comic book series by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chiang. Steve, I've been on the last week. I was on a vacation at a lake house. And what did I do? Most of my downtime, I read comics. And what was the most thing that I read? Paper Girls. I read.
Nice.
I'm almost done with the entire series of Paper Girls. I have about 3 or 4 chapters left. Let me tell you, it is great. It is way different than I thought it was going to be. I guess I don't know what I thought it was going to be when I started, but it's wild. Even more wild than I thought. And I don't know. I think I maybe had started at the last episode, so I may have said something very similar in the last episode. But yeah, it's great. I love it. I thought this trailer was really good. It seemed very representative of what I have seen and read so far. I mean, I'm close to the end, so I can't imagine that it's.
That's where I was going to ask, because watching this trailer, it was just like, I went from the teaser, which was like, okay, this is going to be cool. This is kind of quirky, whatever, to watching the trailer where it's like, this is batshit insane. Okay, sweet. I'm in.
It's wild, man. It's wild.
Yeah.
If you don't remember, I think we mentioned it last week because there was a teaser we talked about last week, but it's basically 4 girls delivering papers in the 1980s, randomly, through no fault of their own, get sucked into a time travel adventure where they're in between, they're in the middle of a time war between 2 rival factions of people trying to control time travel, or who can time travel. It's a whole thing. Thing. It's crazy. It's wild. There's wild creature design. There are wild twists and turns, and they do a lot of cool time travel-y, meeting the older version, meeting the different version, meeting this. I just did this, yesterday, but it seems like, I don't know. Wait, it's just
right.
crazy
So
time travel stuff.
we're into the Summers family tree, right?
Yeah, it's wild. But the book, I gotta say, moves real quick. Like, there's great character work and character development, but the pace of it really never lets up. It's also it's a very easy read. Like, you want to keep reading. It's very, similar to others like Saga or Why the Last Man, like Brian K. Vaughan stuff. Like, but even more so, like the pace more so than Saga and Why the Last Man is up. Like, they're banging through stuff. And going wild places quicker than you would think. So from this trailer, based on what I've read, it seems like they're making a few adjustments, to change from comic book to TV, which is natural. Not all comics transfer perfectly. You have to make some changes. We saw that in things like Why the Last Man. I think this looks great.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Why the Last Man, forever. We shall always love you. Steve, as someone who has not read the books, besides thinking it looks crazy and batshit, what did you think of this trailer?
I think I'm going to enjoy it, and I think I can probably pretty easily sell my wife on it too. So it's kind of I don't know. I got weird, like, Stranger Things Go to the Future vibes.
Yeah, it's been described. I read someone describe it, and I might have said this too, but it's kind of like Back to the Future meets Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Because of the 80s vibe, the out of time-ness of the girls, but also like just the crazy creatures, and there's scares, and there's death, and there's, sad things that happen, or you find sad things that you learn, things like that. So,
and you, as we mentioned last week, you had me at Ali Wong. Like, she's just hilarious. So I'm in.
Yep. Yes. So I'm very excited about this. Who knows if it'll be one of the things that we talk about weekly. Who knows? Because, again, there's so much stuff coming out. Moving on into comics. I feel like I did not enunciate that at all. Moving on into comics is what I meant to say. It all came out as one word. Moving on into comics. Marvel has announced a new Black Panther spinoff series called Wakanda. This is a 5-issue miniseries by Stephanie Williams and artist Paco Medina. It's going to follow a different character in each issue. Number 1 is going to be about Shuri. Another issue is going to focus on Killmonger. Each issue will also feature a backup story called History of the Black Panthers from Evan Narcisse and Natasha Bustos. And that History of the Black Panther is going to be a short comic in the back of the book about like a different character throughout Wakandan history who has held the mantle of Black Panther.
Oh,
so
okay.
I thought this was a cool announcement, and the fact that it's coming out this fall makes me think that this is a tie-in to whatever Wakanda Forever is going to be about.
Right. So you'll probably see
other characters other than T'Challa.
Yeah, you'll probably see another issue on like Nakia and Okoye and So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's Wakanda, I don't think we're going to see Everett K. Ross, Martin Freeman's character.
No, probably not. Maybe he's a side character.
He's been hanging out there. I don't know if he's still hanging out there. So
I don't know because I haven't read any Black Panther comics recently since
the Coates
movie
run
came out.
Coates run was the last thing I read, I think.
Yeah. But do you know offhand, have they updated the character of Eric Killmonger to be more in line with the movie version? Because the pre-movie version of Killmonger is wildly different than the Michael B. Jordan version. Do you know if
I have not
changed that?
read anything that has done that. So, no idea.
Interesting. Oh, wait, no, who am I thinking of? I'm not thinking of Killmonger.
You thinking of M'Baku or?
I'm thinking of Claw. I'm thinking of Ulysses Claw. That's who I was thinking of. Okay.
Yeah, Claw.
Yeah, wow.
Claw's definitely drastically different. I was like trying to figure out where you were going. Like Killmonger is slightly different.
It's slightly different, but yeah.
Not like wildly different.
Not wildly. I was honestly in my brain, I was comparing the comic book version of Ulysses Claw to the movie version of Killmonger. Which
that would be a very diametrically different character.
Possibly be more different.
Yeah, no, I get where you were very confused there.
Okay, yeah, I was confused. I'm crazy. Sorry, I conflated those two characters like an idiot. Okay, I know. Actually, I don't know if they've updated Claw at all, but Claw just looks like wild in the his comic book version is crazy. Doesn't even really look like he looks more like a robot, I feel like, in the pictures that I've seen. But anyway, let's stop talking about things I don't know about. This week in local comic book stores.
Well, I get what he's kind of got that Sentinel vibe. Like
he looks like a Sentinel. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I
Steve.
gotcha.
Come to my rescue.
You're not going crazy. Don't worry. It's like Sentinel met Kang. There's like a weird combo there. Yeah.
Yeah. You mean Kang from
Kang the Conqueror, not Ninja Turtles.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
there's no
Krang.
Oh yeah. There's no brain in his stomach, so.
What a wild character design that is for a children's television show, by the way. A giant robot has a talking brain, not in its head, in its stomach. That's awesome.
A brain with arms, nonetheless.
Yeah. I never saw those shitty Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. Did they ever do a live-action version of Krang?
I don't know. I saw them, and I don't remember.
It would almost be enough for me to watch those movies if I could see a live-action version of Krang. If
Let's
they haven't,
check the
I want
interwebs.
like a gritty.
They in 2016 they definitely did, apparently. Because I'm looking at it right now.
That's got to be the Michael Bay version. Does it look good? It probably. I mean, it's got to look terrible.
It's
all CGI.
It looks like a CGI brain with arms.
I want
Turtles out of the was it TMNT Out of the Shadows? Let's see. Can you
confirm?
That's
the sequel to that's the second Michael Bay Turtles movie. I think.
Yep. Michael Bay. Absolutely.
I want like a gritty, realistic, practical effect Krang in the next live action Ninja Turtles movie.
How did they end up with Laura Linney in those movies?
Laura Linney's in those movies? No idea.
Megan Fox, Stephen Amell, so the Green Arrow is in the movies.
Yeah.
Will Arnett, Tyler Perry.
Raphael's voice is the guy that plays Hawk on Titans.
Oh,
and he's the new Jack Reacher.
God, his name's just like somebody else. Come on. Oh boy.
I don't know.
Alan Ritchson.
Yeah, that's right.
Because every time I hear that, I think of Alan Rickman.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to go for.
But I want the Jim Henson Creature Shop to build an animatronic, practical, gross-looking Krang brain and put it in the belly of a dumb-looking robot.
Oh wait, Stephen Amell played Casey Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Noted Syracuse sports fan, Stephen Amell.
I know.
Used to come to the Dome pretty often.
Yeah, used to come to tons of home SU games, or at least once a year he would come down from Canada to go to an SU game.
Come south of the wall.
Yeah.
Now that we're conflating all sorts of properties together.
Anyway, this week in your local comic book shop, we got A Town Called Terror #4, Above Snakes. number 1. Batgirls, number 8. Batman Urban Legends, number 7. Betty Page Alien Agenda, number 5. Captain Marvel, number 39. Daredevil, number 1. Still being written by Chip Zdarsky, but a new numbering after the event of Devil's Reign. Going back to Daredevil, number 1. Pretty excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs of London, number 3. 8 Billion Genies, number 3. Fantastic Four, number 45. Flavor Girls, number 1. No idea what that's about. Just saw the title and put it on there. Immortal X-Men, number 4. King Spawn, number 12. Moon Knight, number 13. New Mutants, number 27. Punisher, number 4. Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 13. West of Sundown, number 4. Wonder Woman, number 789. And Wolverine, number 23. Steve, you reading anything different? Anything new?
Well, when you were going down through it, you said Above Snakes, number 1, and I was totally waiting alphabetically for Below Snakes, but it never came.
That'll be the part 2. Volume 2 will be called Below Snakes.
Oh, we're going to get that in like 2 months.
Or there'll be one that's just with snakes and then below snakes.
I am pulling Daredevil because, of course, I'm pulling Daredevil.
Of course.
And, as noted, my first DC pull ever with Batman last week.
Ooh, I haven't picked mine up yet.
I haven't either.
No, it came out. It came out last week.
Yep.
But I was on a vacation, so I didn't get it. I got to go get it.
And then 8 Billion Genies, I'm now intrigued by. When you can get optioned a week in, and I mean, I like Sewell to begin with. Like, his stuff has always hit with me, especially like the Vader run, which I still have on the stack to hand to you. Phenomenal characterization of Darth Vader. Like, absolutely nails it. But nice. 8 Billion Genies is now in it's in the queue for when things come out in trade. So
nice. I've got first 2 issues. I haven't read them yet.
Nice.
But sitting on my stack.
Should be good. Like, and Immortal X-Men I've heard is good too. But
I've also heard that is good. Like I said, I spent my week reading a lot of Paper Girls. I also finally read Adora and the Distance by Mark Bernardin. It was great. And I caught up on some other just single issue runs. I caught up on my Nightwing and Superman Son of Kal-El just in time for another Superman Son of Kal-El to come out this week. There's one other one that I read. I don't remember what it was. I'm still behind on Something Is Killing the Children. I got like a stack of like 4 books that I haven't read yet. But I got.
Was it Vampire Girlfriend?
It was not The Amazing Shakes #1 Vampire Girlfriend, but
I did read that this week, so
you did read it.
I can say that was in my list of things I read this week.
Well, hopefully it will be on many other people's pull lists in the future. Hopefully we can get it into a store or 2, at least in this local area. That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's go on. Let's go on.
Your segues are killing it today, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I just need to sleep. I didn't sleep very well last night. So I'm a little tired, but that's no excuse for taking my time.
We're on to Unshoots.
I gotta give my the advice I gave to Marvel. I gotta give to myself. Slow down. Yeah. Take it at your own pace. Slower pace. Slow things down. Because if you go too fast, you're gonna screw things up, and things aren't gonna come out as well as you want them to, like your segues.
You're the Marvel VFX department today.
I am. So
Fair enough.
Take a sip of my drink. I'm going to take a nice deep breath. And I'm going to say, let's go into some one-shots, shall we, Steven?
Absolutely.
One-shot number 1. The Duffer Brothers, creators and directors of Stranger Things, a show you may have heard of, has signed a new development deal with Netflix. They've created a new company called Upside Down Pictures. And they have announced a few projects so far, one of them being a Stranger Things spin-off series, which is said to, there's very little information on it, but it's said to have a completely different feel and tone than the normal series. An adaptation of Stephen King's The Talisman, and a Death Note series. Death Note being a very popular Japanese manga series. There was a Netflix movie that came out a few years ago. I don't think it did very well, and from what I've heard of people that have read it, a series will benefit the story much more than a movie. I did not see the movie. I have not read the book, so I don't know. But this is interesting. We just keep hearing about like Netflix, slowly crumbling, losing people left and right, but then signing a new deal with the Duffer Brothers, who honestly, I mean,
they know where their bread's buttered, man. They know where their bread's buttered.
Exactly. If you're Netflix, you're doing anything you can to keep this Stranger Things money coming in because
Yeah.
it is it's at this point it's one of your flagship shows because all the other shows that used to be your flagship shows are gone.
Right.
Because you canceled them.
Right.
So,
Because you canceled them after 2 series or 2
Yeah.
seasons, and that was that.
yeah. So I think this is a very smart move by Netflix. Hopefully it works for him, I guess. And I know I would watch a Stranger Things spinoff, depending on what it is. I don't know what character it's going to be based on or if it's going to be any characters that we know of. But I guess we'll see.
Yep. Then the Talisman, which Lucas was reading to. Why is my brain not functioning? So you've got the verbal tics going, and I've just got the brain fog.
Yeah.
Who was in the coma?
I don't know who was
Never
in
mind.
the coma.
All right, good talk. The
do know
Talisman
that- I
is
do know
referenced
that-
in Stranger Things, the final season of Stranger Things. So
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I do know that Steven Spielberg has held the rights to the Talisman since before the actual book came out,
oh wow,
like a million years ago. So he is an executive producer of that series,
wow.
movie, whatever it's going to be. Yeah.
So that's for the record, the Talisman is a Stephen King and Peter Straub novel from 1983 or 4.
Yeah.
Which I guess tracks with Stranger Things, so that makes sense.
Makes sense.
I
They
have
know
a
about it.
copy of it sitting around here somewhere.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, I read about a
Nice.
quarter of it and then never got back to it.
Cool.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's fine.
So one shot the second. James Cameron may not direct Avatar 4 and 5. This also means we will still be getting Avatar 4 and 5. But Cameron stated the Avatar
Go ahead,
films
read the
themselves are all kind of all-consuming. I've got some other things I'm developing as well as that are exciting. I think eventually over time I'll want to pass the baton to a director that I trust to take over so I can go and do some other stuff that I'm also interested in. Or maybe not. I don't know. Movie 4 is a corker. It's a mother effer. I actually hope I get to make it, but it depends on market forces. 3 is in the can, so it's coming out regardless. I really hope that we get to make 4 and 5 because it's one big story ultimately. What?
So we may not even get 4 and 5.
Right.
He's saying right there that it depends on whether or not people like the second and third one. Which is what the rest of the world has been saying forever, for the last 12 years.
Unreal.
Maybe don't announce 5 sequels before you make 1 sequel.
Yeah, well,
So,
baby steps.
If movie 4 is a mother effer, I don't know, maybe make 2 a mother effer so people care about it.
I wrote a hell of a movie 4 movies down the line. Come on.
Yeah, that's like when people say, you got to watch this new show. Or you got to watch this show. It's amazing. Just get through season 1 and then it's great.
Yep.
Like, well, season 1 should be great. Or I'm not going to, don't make me watch an entire season of a show before it, quote unquote, gets good. So, James Cameron, don't make us watch 3 Avatar movies before you give us a mother effer of an Avatar movie. Number 4. I don't know. Just more about Avatar. Did he also say? Did you read? He said something this week about the runtime of the second Avatar movie is like almost 3 hours, and he was like, I don't want to hear anybody complaining about the runtime when people stay home and binge watch entire series of a show in one day.
Yeah, they stay home and do that.
Yeah, you can pause it when you're at your home, you idiot. What do you Don't criticize us. We don't.
Are you putting
see a 3-hour
intermission
movie,
breaks in? Because otherwise, go shit in a hat.
Yeah. Well, he said something about it. He said there has to be a new, and people have to start embracing that it's okay to go and get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of a movie. Well, then are you saying your movie's boring? You can get up and go to the bathroom and not miss anything? I don't know.
Right. If that's the case, cut it from 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Don't make it 3 hours. Yeah. If there are good spots in your movie to stop watching it to go to the bathroom, then you should just cut that part out. It shouldn't be in your movie.
One would think.
He is such a weird animal. I don't really understand. I feel like sometimes I like him, and sometimes I think he's a complete idiot. I just don't understand.
I think it can be both.
My relationship with James
I think it can
Cameron,
be
I
both.
just don't understand. Oh, sure. People are duplicative. That's not a word. Is that a word? duplicative.
I was gonna say multiplicitive, but
duplicitous.
that would be
Yeah, no,
just,
that's the right word. Multiplicitive.
yeah.
That's got to be the right word.
And now all I can think of is Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a dolphin.
The last one shot is that this week we got a full trailer for Harley Quinn season 3, the HBO Max exclusive series. We got a short teaser last week. This week we got a full trailer. I don't know. I love this show. We find out that, spoiler alert for season 2 of Harley Quinn. Joker ends up with a family, and he decides apparently in Harley Quinn season 3, he decides that he needs to do right by his family and get a real job and stop being a bad guy. So he's running for mayor. And Poison Ivy also has a plan to take over Gotham City and re-terraform it, give it back to the land and the plants, and take it away from the humans. So we'll see. Seeming like it may be driving a wedge between Harley's goals and Ivy's goals. So we'll see how that works in their newfound relationship. Also, some cool stuff with Batman and Nightwing. We're getting Nightwing in this series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. A little bit of a Bat family. There's Batgirl and Robin have both been introduced in seasons 1 and 2, and so now we're getting Nightwing. So I don't know. I'm excited about a little Bat family action. There's a cool line from Bane in this. I don't know. It's like kind of like this was the trailer that was like, hey, all your favorites are coming back. Plus, you're getting Nightwing, and you're getting, like we got Swamp Thing in the teaser last week and all that kind of stuff. So this is a wild, crazy show. I hope everyone watches it because it's amazing. And that's all I got to say about that.
That works.
That works. So I don't know. I think we did it because we don't have like we said earlier. Neither of us have seen the most recent Ms. Marvel episode. I almost watched it tonight and then realized I didn't have time. So
Sounds
right.
right.
We wouldn't have talked about it because you haven't watched it. So hopefully by next week we will have watched both 5 and 6, which is the end of the series. We can talk about the last of the series. That would be cool.
Yep.
And what else is happening next week? Maybe we'll do a Thor: Love and Thunder review next week if you get to go out and see it. I don't know,
Absolutely.
tomorrow, so that'd be cool. And I think that's all we got. Is there anything else that we need to talk about?
No, I think just, do the usual. Follow us on social. Follow us on YouTube. Like, subscribe. Any of your podcatchers of choice, please subscribe. It really helps us, trick the algorithm into showing more people our stuff. Beyond that, check us out at themultiversereport.com, multiversereport@gmail.com for all your emailing needs. And on Twitter, you can find myself at Dutch Hart and Mike at Carol's Kid with a K.
Yeah, that's right. If you want updates or more information on my comic book, The Amazing Shakes, you can follow me on Twitter, Carol's Kid, Instagram at Carol's Kid. You can also follow The Amazing Shakes on Facebook or Instagram at The Amazing Shakes. And I think that's all I got. So until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you in the multiverse.